Hello, welcome to this podcast. Thank you so much for attending, and I really value all of your time out there. My name is Seewing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network, and my special guest is Justin Zawodny. He is a network realtor. He helped out-of-state investors to buy investment properties in his market in Southwest Florida and in Cape Coral, to be specific. He's also a property manager. So this particular short, approximately 15-minute module, we can talk about the rental market here in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral. Now, before we go there, Justin, I want to mention that in case people out there have not heard, we are experiencing a rental tsunami, meaning there's a skyrocketing of rents that's going on, not just in Florida, but all over the country. I mean, if you look at the social media, if you look at YouTube videos channels, if you look at the local channels of all the major cities in the US, it's not unheard of to hear that the landlord is raising the people's rent like 20, 30, even 50% rental increases. I mean, this is, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. My takeaway is some of the reasons are, inflation, right? And another scenario would be the eviction moratorium has expired in many parts of the country, and some landlord are, they want to raise more rent because their cost of doing business is higher. They, some landlord went through a couple of years without collecting rent as a result of the eviction moratorium. And many other reasons. And then, of course, there's lack of housing to buy and lack of housing to rent. So there are more renters than there are available houses to rent. So all those good reasons. So the reason why I invite Justin Zawodny to talk about this is because he has a post in his local market in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral. So Justin, my real estate investors also want to know about it as well. So what's going on with the rental market in Southwest Florida, and what's your take from your ground level?
Yeah, I mean, it's skyrocketing. I mean, the rental market has been growing incredibly quickly. The markets that we work in down here in Southwest Florida, so we work in Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, as well as the Naples area. Both of those markets are in the top 5 fastest increasing rental rates in the country, out of all the real estate markets in the country. So they're moving up incredibly quickly. And kind of like you talked about, what's bringing on that quick increase in rent is really the three factors I see that are causing it the most. I mean, the first is population increase. People have been moving to Southwest Florida faster than at any point in the history of Southwest Florida. There are more people coming here every single day. Looking at Cape Coral specifically, if we go back to 2010, the population was about 100,000 people living in Cape Coral. In 2020, it had increased to 200,000. By 2050, they're expecting it to be 400,000. That's just Cape Coral. That's not the greater Fort Myers area, just the Cape Coral market. That's a very, very quick increase in population, and a very sizable population hub as well. We're not talking about a little market of 3,000 homes. This is a large population hub. I mean, if we look just on a 2-year basis, between 2019 and 2020, it increased by 15,000 people. That's very, very fast. That's a lot of people coming far quicker than they can build homes for all those people. So just demand from the number of renters has been a huge cause. Another thing that we've seen, a lot of people who purchased rental properties 10 years ago, they're selling them, right? We bought a home back in 2010 for, $120,000. It's worth $350 now, so I'm going to sell it, make my money, and that's that. And the people buying them, they're not buying it to rent it out, they're buying to move into it. So all of a sudden, the tenant that had lived there for 5 years, they're out there on the rental market looking for somewhere to go, and there's just even more rental demand because even the local renters are being moved between properties. And another third factor is people, they can't buy homes. There's nothing for sale. So, I moved here, I was going to buy, but nothing to buy. Well, guess I need to rent for a couple of years while they keep building more homes and we get our inventory where it needs to be. These are very, very, very qualified tenants. They're really ready to buy a $400,000 home, $500,000 home, but they can't because there isn't one available. So we get to get a highly qualified, very, very good tenant for 2, 3, 4 years, however long it takes for these builders to build enough inventory to catch up. So really, those are the three biggest factors we've seen that have led to this just absolutely incredibly quick rental increase.
So, okay, Justin, so sorry to interrupt you. So currently, the new construction single family homes you have that you're selling, they are around, depending on what neighborhood in Cape Coral. Let's say for right now, they're selling for, let's say 375,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I don't know how many square foot, 1,500, 1,600 square foot.
1,500, yep.
Yeah, and I've been selling single family home residential investing for a very long time in different markets throughout the country for like 20 years now. And the numbers really make sense. For we're getting like renters, high quality renter paying like right now around $2,400, even $2,500 per month to rent these single family homes at the price range we just talked about, brand new in good neighborhood, but I might add, and duplexes that you're selling for right now in Cape Coral, like for $550K and per unit per site on a duplex, brand new duplex, you're getting like almost $2,000 per door on a duplex. Rent.
We are getting 2,000 now. It used to be almost 2,000. Now it's 2,000 per door for a brand new duplex.
Yeah. Who are these people? Can you describe, based on your experience, what kind of job they have, and what is the salary are they making, and what kind of occupation they have, and yeah, those things. Tell me what's going on.
So I think, and it ties back to our last point of the increasing rent. Rent in Cape Coral had been undervalued for years, right? Those duplexes that are renting for $2,000 a month, they're 3-bedroom, 2-bath on each side with a 1-car garage. Those were renting 2 years ago for about $1,300 per side. And find me another market in the country where I can live 20 minutes from the beach in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, not even apartment, it's a duplex. You have windows all around one side of it for $1,300 a month. I mean, it doesn't exist. It will never exist again moving forward. It doesn't happen. So while these prices are now at 2,000, which on a national perspective is very average for a 3-bedroom unit, it seems like it's increased quite a bit very, very quickly. But it's just because it was so undervalued for so long. And with all this population, they finally figured out how great of an area it is, and it's exploded. Something that's been due to happen for years.
Yep.
But now, as far as people who can do this, one of the criteria we use for tenants, we like our tenants to have a monthly income that is 3 times the rent. So let's look at the duplex, for example, at $2,000 a month. If we have 2 adults moving in, it's a 3-bedroom apartment, so maybe mom, dad, and 2 kids. Both parents work 40 hours a week. They need to make $6,000 per month to qualify. $6,000 would be the minimum. I mean, that's $72,000 a year for 2 adults combined, $36,000 each. That's fairly average for the Southwest Florida area, right? I mean, one example I like to use. Let's say, get my calculator here real quick. Let's say both adults work a very, very reasonable job. They're cashiers at the local grocery store, right? They're not even in a professional line work, just cashiers. The cashier at that grocery store, they're paying them $18 an hour right now. So we're doing $18 an hour times 40 hours a week times 2 adults, 52 weeks a year, and we're going to divide that by the 12 months a year. Well, there's our $6,240 a month.
Wow.
So, our husband and wife that are both cashiers, perfect. I'm very confident that their cashier jobs are still going to be there for them in a year. right? They've been doing it for a number of time. A lot of the grocery stores here take pride in that cashier position as a great point of customer service. And even though they have phased in some self-checkout, refuse to go completely self-checkout. So I have faith that if they've been there for a number of years, they're still going to be there moving forward.
Yep.
You know, they're making plenty of income. If their credit scores are good and their rental history is good, that's a great tenant who we can have live there for years and years and years. And you know, even if they were to go from one store to another, there's 6 of these grocery stores in Cape Coral. So 6 different locations they could work at within about a 10-minute drive of the home. It's perfect. That's great. What we do find a lot of, though, you know, we have a lot of people who work for the school board, whether they're teachers or administrators who rent from us. Number of people who work in different service type industries, restaurants or things like that. Number of people who work, police officers, lots of very, very average jobs, but even like as a teacher, right? We have husband and wife, they're both teachers. Starting teacher salary is $40,000 a year. Perfect. Combined income is $80,000. They can easily qualify for a $2,000 a month property, and they come very close to qualifying for the single family homes that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So while these rates have gone up quickly, they're still very, very manageable for most, you know, average careers in the Southwest Florida area. We just need a good stable job, and it's not uncommon to find a stable job that pays plenty of money to afford those units.
Yeah. So Justin, yeah, of course you and I and everybody knows that there's a tremendous migration of people, an influx of people from the Northeast, New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, wherever, and also Californians also are coming into Florida, migrating into Florida, and the U-Haul, you know, website, you know, they depict the migration patterns, and in the Midwest also in Midwest areas of the country, there are also people coming to Florida for many reasons, retiring, for jobs, for vacations, for whatever. And also, I've been doing some further research. The South Florida market, you know, the homes and rents have skyrocketing to a epic level. And I see people from South Florida are moving from South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, wherever. They drive across the state from the east to the west of Florida, like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive into Southwest Florida, where homes are more affordable and renting are better, because people paying rent in Florida, in Miami, like $3,000, $4,000 rent on a single family home or on a condo, whatever. That's crazy, you know? So
and they're not brand new.
Yeah.
They're 30, 40, 50 years old for $3,000, $4,000 a month in rent, you know? You come over here to Cape Coral and you get the brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that's 1,500 square feet and has a 2-car garage attached, and it's 2,400. It looks like a steal. You know, you can't believe it. You can get that, but that's, you know, where the market's at, and makes for a great opportunity for our investors.
Okay, my final question is, as we conclude this podcast, is I know I don't have a crystal ball, you don't have a crystal ball. Let's fast forward 3 to 5 years from now, maybe even beyond 5 years. Now we know, because the low supply of inventory in the Cape Coral market and a high demand, and for buying and renting as well. I mean, we have bidding war from renters. I mean, we have, you know, for each house you're putting in a market for renting, there are like 30, 40, 50 rental applications. So that's a good thing. So as the Cape Coral market, housing prices are keep on appreciating at a double-digit rate for the past few years. For the next 12 to 24 months, based on the, you know, the supply and demand imbalance, we have to make the assumptions that the housing prices will continue to increase in the Cape Coral market. Good for investors. So, you know, if the appreciation rate in the next 12 to 24 months and even beyond are 7 to 10%, or maybe even higher, the rent has to increase at a similar amount. So at some point in time, there's a limit, right? The rent can't go beyond $2,500, $2,600 for a single family home rent, you know, that we talked about. 1,500 square foot, 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 bath. So how many more, how many more years, several more years before investors can't do it anymore based on their
it's hard to say. The biggest thing to keep in mind with any property, right? We can come up with a snapshot now. We can make sure that the property that's being purchased will have cash flow year one. Over the years, rent increases at one of the most linear, perfect 8% increases year over year that you will see on any trend line ever put together. I mean, we're talking about if we took a data point of the average rent every single year and then put a trend line against it, they almost match up perfectly. This year, having a 30+% increase is very unusual. Do I think that that's going to continue forever? Absolutely not. Right? We're not going to be sitting here 5 years from now going, man, can't believe we saw a 150% increase from 2022. That was great. Probably not happening. Do I think we will go back to a much more typical 8% increase trend? Yes. I mean, and then that's historically data driven. And if we continue to add 8% more cash flow every single year, by year 5 of the investment, we're doing great. We're making hundreds of dollars per month in cash flow, and the property has increased in value over that time as well. So I do think we return to a much more average increase.
Yeah.
When that happens, I don't know. It's whenever inventory kind of comes back in line with the demand.
Right.
I mean, right now, not only is demand through the roof, but our inventory is almost non-existent. We have about 3 weeks of inventory on the market.
Ooh.
A healthy market has about 6 months of inventory.
Yep.
So they are building lots and lots of homes, but I think we're a couple of years away from them balancing out. When they do balance out, though, that's when we return to that nice, healthy, average trend line that we want to see. I don't think we see a trend like 2008 where it drops off, because we're not going to get to a point where all of a sudden demand is here and inventory is here overnight. We're just going to slowly meet to where our demand and inventory are at nice, healthy levels, and we see that natural average increase.
Yeah. So if I understand you correctly, Justin, even with the rising interest rate, I mean, investors, they look at interest rate a lot different than a owner-occupied buyer. An investor, they look at the rent versus the value versus the payments. So even with a current interest rate, we don't know how how the interest rate is going to go in the future. No one knows really for sure. But right now, it's like 4.5 or 4.7% for investor interest rate on investment loan. Even with this, you can still get cash flow based on $375K single family home new construction and renting at $2,400 at 20% down payment at 4.7% investment interest rate. Investors can still cash flow monthly. Not that much, but it's okay. It's still good enough. So my takeaway,
a couple $100 a month.
Yep.
Couple $100 a month, and that's good. It's a brand new property, and as we increase that over time, it's going to get better and better. And the interest rates, the only reason 4.7 even sounds just okay is because of where the interest rates were 2-3 years ago, right? If we go back 15 years and tell someone, oh, well, you can get something in the mid 4s, they're thrilled.
Yep.
Perfect. We're still at near historic lows.
Yep. So Justin, my takeaway is all about cash flow and then equity appreciation potential, although we have to be careful not to overproject for our investors. And also the renter can pay down the mortgage, all those, the multi-dimension of owning a rental property that will give you all these great returns. It just makes sense as long as the investor buy and hold. So there's still a window of opportunity here in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, but not for long, because I'm not only going to say investors, they need to pull the trigger, they need to do their research and due diligence. They need to create a sense of urgency, a sense of priority to pull trigger, because that for those investors that pulled the trigger recently, they are very happy working with you. And so that's the whole. That's my takeaway, is to get in there, get in the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, especially for the duplexes, if you're someone who has ever considered a duplex, we have inventory at 550 right now. One of the other duplex developers recently, this week on Monday, listed a brand new duplex on the market at 599. I can tell you, if he sells it for 599, every other developer is going to raise their prices as well. Right now, it's still active on the market. It is not pending. There's no contract. The 550 is still there, still ready for us to take. I can tell you that will go away very, very shortly after that one sells, if it does in fact sell for 599. So there's certainly a very small window of opportunity, but that window is there.
Yeah. Oh, Justin, one thing I forgot. I mean, I hate to prolong this podcast, but I have a very good question. I almost forgot. What about, I know we've been doing, long-term rental. That's fine. Annual, 1 year annual lease. That's the, standard. But can an investor buy this kind of properties, single-family home and duplex with you, and at some point in time, can they convert it into a short-term rental, into Airbnb? And what are the restrictions in the Cape Coral market? What are the laws and regulations, restrictions around short-term rentals?
So there's no restrictions. It's certainly an option. If someone wanted to convert it from the annual rental to a short-term rental, there's a huge market for it in Cape Coral. It's certainly an option that we could take. The one thing I will tell everybody is, we have to look on an individual basis to see if that made sense. Right? When you switch from long-term rentals to the short-term rentals, there's more risk involved. There's more vacancy potential. There's much higher expenses. You have to furnish the whole unit. You have to maintain all of that furniture and whatnot. It certainly does make money for the right individual. We just got to look and see if it does make sense. However, it's an option that is definitely on the table and available if it did make sense for that investor.
Very good. With that said, thank you so much for this podcast. Very informative. And again, my takeaway is the rental market is very strong, and the equity market and the potential in the Cape Coral market obviously very strong. It's a great area. It's a tremendous place to live, to work and play, close to the beach, sunshine. What else? What more can you ask for? It's paradise. So, okay, thank you so much, Justin. Justin Zawodny from Cape Coral, Southwest Florida. My name is Seewing from Real Estate Network. Thank you so much for attending. Have a nice day.